Today's Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 leak is a mixed bag, and if you were hoping the Fold 8 would inherit the Galaxy S26 Ultra's biggest new privacy feature, you might want to lower your expectations right now. A highly trusted Samsung tipster, Ice Universe, is reporting that the Galaxy Z Fold 8 will not get Samsung's new privacy screen technology. And that's not the only disappointment. The same leak suggests there's still no S Pen support coming back, and the infamous foldable Crease reportedly doesn't improve much either. So what does that mean for Samsung's next foldable flagship? Is the Galaxy Z Fold 8 shaping up to be a safe, iterative upgrade, while the real innovation gets saved for another model, possibly the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Wide? Let's break down everything in this Galaxy Z Fold 8 rumor report, what it means for buyers, and why pricing could become the biggest story of all. If you want fast updates on Samsung leaks, Fold launch deals, and the latest Galaxy news, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned, because the next few weeks could get very interesting. First up, the privacy screen. According to Ice Universe, Samsung's new privacy screen feature, first seen on the Galaxy S26 Ultra, is not coming to the Galaxy Z Fold 8 this year. So what is Samsung's privacy screen and why were people excited about it? The privacy screen is a hardware-based display feature that uses a polarized filter layer built into the screen itself. The whole point is simple: reduce side-angle visibility so people sitting next to you can't easily read what's on your display. At stronger settings, the effect becomes dramatic. Look at the screen from the side, and it can darken or black out quickly. From straight on, it looks normal. And because it's adjustable, you can tune it to your comfort level instead of being stuck with a one-size-fits-all privacy filter. Even more importantly, this privacy effect can be smart. It can be enabled only in certain apps, or triggered only when you're typing a password or opening sensitive information. It's the kind of feature that makes perfect sense for real life, on planes, trains, cafes, meetings, or anywhere shoulder surfing is a risk. And it's a standout Galaxy S26 Ultra feature precisely because it's practical, not just flashy. So why wouldn't Samsung bring it to the Galaxy Z Fold 8? Because foldable screens are not built like normal smartphone screens. Foldable displays rely on ultra-thin glass and flexible layers that must survive thousands and eventually hundreds of thousands of folds. That means the display stack, the layered structure that makes up the screen, is engineered completely differently compared to a rigid slab-style phone like the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Adding an extra polarized privacy layer could increase thickness and complexity. And on a foldable, thickness isn't just an aesthetic issue, it can affect how smoothly the device closes, how the hinge behaves, and how durable that flexible panel remains over time. In other words, what works on a fixed flagship display may be far harder to implement on a flexible inner foldable screen. And there's another angle here too: cost. Samsung reportedly spent years developing this privacy screen tech for traditional displays. Adapting it for a foldable could mean higher manufacturing costs, lower yields, and more engineering risk. If Samsung is already under pressure to control fold pricing, skipping the privacy screen might be a strategic compromise. Now, there is one big question. What about the cover display? The Galaxy Z Fold series has two screens, the inner folding display and the outer cover screen. The cover screen behaves much more like a normal phone display. So, could Samsung still bring the privacy screen to the outer display even if the inner foldable panel can't support it yet? As of this leak, there's no confirmation either way. But it's something to watch because adding the privacy screen to the cover display could still be a meaningful upgrade, especially for messaging, email, banking apps, and quick tasks on the go. Still, based on this rumor, don't expect the Galaxy Z Fold 8 to match the Galaxy S26 Ultra feature for feature. Samsung may want the privacy screen to remain an S26 Ultra exclusive, at least for now, to keep that phone's identity strong and separate from the Fold line. Now let's talk about the second major part of this leak. S Pen support. Ice Universe is also claiming the Galaxy Z Fold 8 will not support the S Pen. And if you followed Samsung foldables, you know the S Pen story has been messy. Samsung added S Pen support to the Galaxy Z Fold line back in 2021 with the Galaxy Z Fold 3. But it wasn't integrated into the phone like the Galaxy S Ultra series. Instead, it was an optional stylus, usually paired with a special case that held the pen. That approach continued for multiple generations. But more recently, S Pen support has been uncertain, and in the latest generation, it reportedly disappeared, largely because Samsung kept pushing thinner designs, and thin foldables leave less room for digitizer layers and structural trade-offs. Going into the Galaxy Z Fold 8 cycle, some people hoped Samsung would reverse course. Rumors suggested the Fold 8 might be slightly thicker than the Fold 7, and even small changes in thickness could theoretically allow Samsung to bring back stylus compatibility. But according to today's leak, that's not happening. If you're someone who uses the Fold as a mini tablet, taking notes, sketching, marking documents, doing productivity work, losing S Pen support is not a small feature cut. It changes what the Fold is for. And it raises a bigger question. Is Samsung repositioning the Fold series away from productivity tablet phone and more toward premium multitasking phone with emphasis on thinness and portability? Because if the Fold 8 stays thin, skips the S Pen and doesn't meaningfully improve the crease, then the upgrades need to come from somewhere else. Camera, performance, battery, software, durability, weight, or price. Which brings us to the crease. The same tipster claim says the Galaxy Z Fold 8 crease doesn't improve much. That's disappointing, especially because Samsung has shown crease reduction prototypes and concepts at events like CES. Crease-free, or at least crease minimized, foldable displays have been one of the biggest goals in the entire category. Every year, the question is the same. Does it finally look more like a seamless tablet? If the Fold 8 crease is only slightly improved, then the inner display experience may feel like an incremental refresh rather than a next-generation leap. And in a market that's getting more competitive, where rival foldables continue to push hinge engineering and display aesthetics, Samsung can't rely only on brand power forever. Now here's where the leak gets more interesting, because if the Galaxy Z Fold 8 is shaping up to be iterative, where is the innovation going? The rumor narrative suggests Samsung may be saving the big changes for another model, often referred to as the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Wide. A wide model could mean a bigger cover screen, a more usable outer display aspect ratio, and a design that feels less like a tall remote control and more like a normal phone when closed. For years, one of the most common requests from Fold users has been exactly that. Make the cover screen wider and more comfortable without forcing you to open the device for every little thing. If Samsung is indeed preparing a Fold 8 Wide with more dramatic design changes, it could explain why the standard Galaxy Z Fold 8 might play it safe. Samsung may be splitting the lineup to satisfy both thin and light buyers and big screen power users. But there's one more story looming over all of this. Price. Reports out of Korea suggest Samsung may try to keep the base Galaxy Z Fold 8 price stable while shifting higher costs onto higher storage tiers. In practical terms, that could mean the entry model looks unchanged on paper, but the model most people actually want, the 512GB version, could become significantly more expensive. One report claims the 512GB Galaxy Z Fold 8 could land around 3 million Korean won, which is roughly around the $2,000 range depending on conversion and market factors. And if you've watched foldable pricing trends, you know how this goes. The headline price becomes a marketing number, while the realistic storage tier becomes the one that hurts. Samsung already raised prices previously, and ongoing supply chain pressure, especially memory pricing, could make further increases hard to avoid. The broader context is that memory chips, advanced manufacturing, and premium components have all gotten more expensive. AI infrastructure demand has been putting pressure on memory supply, and smartphone makers are still dealing with higher costs across the board: processors, camera modules, and manufacturing transitions. So, if Samsung is facing rising costs, they have two choices. Option 1, raise the price. Option 2, cut or delay features. And if this leak is accurate, no privacy screen, no S Pen support, and minimal crease improvement, it starts to look like Samsung may be choosing option 2 in at least some areas, possibly to keep the Galaxy Z Fold 8 from becoming even more expensive than it already is. But that leads to the biggest question of all. If the Galaxy Z Fold 8 costs around $2,000 in a meaningful storage configuration and it doesn't bring major headline upgrades, will buyers still feel it's worth it? Because foldable fans don't just want the next one. They want noticeable improvements, a better crease, better durability, better cameras, a more practical cover screen, new display tech, and features that justify paying premium money.